Good day. Welcome to Endurance Room. We've done it now. So this morning, as I was getting ready to head out, Catherine asked me what I was planning on filming today, and I was like, I don't know. I was thinking maybe a Bushcraft video or a bow drill, which I've had on my mind for a bit now. But she's like, it rained last night, everything's wet, do the bow drill. So here we are, and I've only got about an hour, and I have yet to practice doing a bow drill in these woods. It is hardwood, which isn't ideal, and then conifers, pines, which are very resinous and also not ideal for bow drill sets. But it is possible, and today we're going to try and figure it out. And like I said, we only have about an hour to do it. So I'm going to throw up my Palakkas real quick just to get that out of my system. Then we're going to go find some materials for our bow drill and see if we can get an ember. Welcome to Endurance Room. All right, the clock has started. We've got an hour to make a bow drill set and get an ember going. That's the plan. And it rained pretty good last night. You know, I'd say for a couple hours. The ground is still wet. A lot of the tree bark is still wet. It holds a lot of moisture. But what I'm gonna look for is some white pine, like this guy over here, that is, you know, up off the ground with some dry or dead branches, and then process those down. But what I need to do is find a limb that the pine pitch has drained away from. The resin in the woods is what's going to keep the bow drill from taking off. You can use that to your advantage for the hand socket, because the sap will make lubrication for the bow drill to spin. But we don't want that for the fireboard down in the bottom or the bow drill itself, because it's just going to sabotage us before we get it going. So let's find some wood. Okay, that's a good length for our bow. It's about thumb diameter, a little thinner, and it's green wood, so it's got some flex. Should work nicely. This looks promising right here. This is pretty straight. The outside's a little punky, a little damp, but we can shave that down. See if we can get a board out of this and a drill out of this. All right, so that's components for our bow, the bow drill, the fireboard. Now we need the bearing block. And for that, I want something with some resin in it. This tree broke off about 6 months ago. And all of the sap in this limb is gonna drain down to where it comes out of the trunk here. So hopefully this is a really nice bearing block. This is actually probably too thick. Let's try one over here. That'll do. bearing block. It smells nice and piney. So here are our components. We've got our bow itself, the bearing block. Just need to carve a little divot in there. Possible spindle. I think we'll run with this one first. And then we'll try and get a fireboard out of this. It's a little damp on the exterior, but if we process it down and find a spot without a lot of resin, we might be able to get something out of this one. There's our bearing block. Let's take a look at our fireboard. So I'm looking at it, trying to find, any resin spots to see, what would be the ideal location to go down through. See where it's darker here? There's pitch in here, but as it gets lighter on this side, it's definitely more ideal. Ideally, for this stuff, you want wood that you can scratch with your fingernail or your thumbnail. See how it's kind of orange there? It's harder. It's got resin in it. Not great. That's not too bad though. It feels a little damp. We shall see. I'm just straightening out our drill candidate. So I got to decide which end is going down and which end is going up into the bearing block. And I think this side has got a little less resin in it. So that would be the side that goes down into the fireboard. So we're just crowning it off. Then this side we'll put in the bearing block. Cool. Alright guys, first we gotta see if it'll even burn in. Oh, we got smoke. Right on. This is exciting. That'll do. We got a little burn mark in there. We can potentially get an ember out of this. And we're still under our time limit. We got 10 minutes to go. Now, before we make the ember, we need something to catch the ember. I just grabbed a piece of dead, dry maple bark. It's pretty dry. that'll do. We also need to cut a slot in our fireboard. So you want a little groove for the dust to flow down through. And then on this bottom side, you can actually vent it a little bit for the dust to collect. Just think of like an hourglass shape. Something like this. All right, last but not least, before we rip this, just in case we hit our ember, I didn't have time to collect natural materials for a bird's nest, but what I do have is some jute twine in my pocket. No dice. I gotta clear that channel out a little bit more. I got one more burn out of this one. Clean off the drill. No dice. And I think that's time. Let's try one more. This was our first socket. This was the second one we finished it up with. Not too bad. We're a little over time, about 20 minutes. So an hour and 20 minutes to harvest wood from a wet pine forest and produce bow drill ember. You know, the only other thing that I would have liked to have done was just use natural tinder from the environment, but that is probably going to take a little bit more time to produce and procure. That being said, the big win here was getting the ember with the white pine, because as I mentioned, the resins, it's pretty cool, pretty excited. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one, and we'll catch y'all soon. Cheers.